it's more about creating and building the bench for folks that can inherit the work and, more importantly, evolve the work that we do. We think we're doing really good work, but it needs to evolve beyond just my thinking, and the crazy ideas that I come up with in the shower in the morning cannot be the best ideas in our organization, right? Like we need some other good shit. And so decentering myself allows for that to evolve. So that's what's keeping me up.
Welcome to another edition of EO US East Bridge in the boardroom. I am thrilled to have Malik Muhammad with us today. Dr. Malik Muhammad. We were just joking about that. I'm going to let him share about that with you. He is located in the Baltimore area. And so thanks so much for joining me today, Malik. I appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely, Laura. Thank you so much for this invitation to share a little bit about me and EO and my experience. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, with that, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Who are you? Tell us about your family. Tell us about your business. Like, what can we learn?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm here in Delaware. So we're just north of Baltimore, in between Baltimore and Philadelphia. So
Okay.
in the small state of Delaware, and which is part of the reason why I joined the U.S. East Bridge chapter, because we don't have a local chapter, but also because of travel, and I really wanted an experience that would allow me to maintain the integrity of attending forum and EO membership in a really interesting way. So Bridge was perfectly suited for that. I think easiest to say is that I'm an educator by training. That's sort of what my early career was, and eventually would do a bunch of different things, run some career colleges, and do a long stint in a national corporate healthcare organization, but still educator at heart. And so that would eventually bring me to open a training organization where we primarily train folks in what we refer to as relational practices, which is a combination of restorative practices, trauma-informed care work, cultural relevancy, et cetera. And we've been doing that for a number of years. But then in 2018, I started an organization called Transforming Lives, which is alternative education provider, which is my EO qualifying business, one of the two. And so where I spend probably a majority of my time. And when I'm not doing that, I am Dr. Christina Watlington's husband and father to Siddiqui and Ngozi and a couple of amazing dogs. And we just love being with each other and travel and laughing. Yeah.
Nice. And I beg your pardon, you did say Delaware, and I'm sorry I said Baltimore, so I apologize.
Yeah, no
But,
worries. No worries.
so
Close enough.
it's all the Northeast when you're in Florida. It's just cold air
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, truly. That's right.
So is your business then located in Delaware as well, or are you broader than
Yeah.
that? Or
Yeah, so yes and no. So I've actually got four organizations that I lead, and but we're headquartered in Delaware. Yeah. So for Transforming Lives, we have now five schools, brick and mortar schools. So three of them are here in Delaware, and we're just opening now. This week, actually launching two new schools in New Jersey, and then we've got a bunch of programs in Delaware as well. But then Akoben, which is my other company, is more national, and we do some work internationally with schools and organizations as well. So much broader than Delaware, but sort of Delaware's home base, if you will. Yeah.
okay, excellent. And is Eastbridge your first chapter in EO? A lot of people have
It is.
started another. Okay,
It is,
wonderful.
and although my EO journey is interesting in that I started connecting with EO in around 2015 or so, where I was introduced to EO via Warren Rustand, who a lot of folks know, and Warren and I are very, very, very dear friends, and I actually worked for Warren. He was my boss in that large corporate healthcare organization, and so as our relationship changed and morphed from just sort of professional to also personal, he asked me if I would come and support some of the learning initiatives in EO, namely the leadership academies, the global leadership academy. So I became faculty in 2015 for GLA. And then since then have become one of the formators for RLA. So I've done I don't know, maybe 24 RLAs and GLAs around the world. And so that's what my relationship with EO started as a faculty and formator, but not as a member. And then finally, good friends of mine like Brian Brogue and George Gann and Jamie Diraji and Warren said, listen, Malik, stop playing around. Come on, join EO. And I was like hemming and hawing. And part of it was because my experience and window into EO were leaders at the global and regional level because of RLA and GLA. So that's what I assumed all EO was and all membership levels were these folks that were leaving their businesses for months, it seems like, and traveling all around. And it wasn't until I started really sitting down and thinking more about it that there were opportunities for membership that didn't require as much, right, in terms of that path of leadership. And so at their urging and guidance and advice and mentorship, I joined Eastbridge. So.
Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you for that. What a great journey. So to be exposed to it, because I think so very often we do spend a lot of time like having to educate people on what EO really is.
Yeah.
Because it's really, I think people hear it and they think immediately networking. And yeah, that's a byproduct of it, but that is not by any means our, sole purpose. So how nice that you were able to learn about the purpose of it before you, even got to have the opportunity to join. So that's amazing.
Yeah. So actually my sort of introduction and relationship with EO was not at all about networking. It was really about leadership development and with folks at the global board level and as well as EO staff. And so it was much more about an entrepreneurial development path and process and organization more so than networking and that. And then of course over the years, just fell in love with the process of forum and really cherish my own forum.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, being that you're a doctor, I'm sure you've read quite a few books. So would you mind sharing some that have had an impact on you?
Oh, wow. Yeah. I think my favorite author, at least he's been for a while, is a gentleman named Peter Block. And it's not a traditional leadership and certainly not an entrepreneurial book. In that I think it would actually challenge a lot of sort of the common dialogue around entrepreneurship and leadership. But Peter Block, one book that he wrote that I really love is called Community, the Structure of Belonging, in which he really, I think, paints a picture, a vivid vision of what community can really look like and feel like. And he's done some amazing work in Cincinnati and other places. He also has another great book called The Answer to How is Yes, which I really love. So Peter Block is one of my favorite authors. Also another woman named Adrienne Marie Brown, and she wrote a book called Emergent Strategy. And she introduced me to the notion of biomimicry, looking at biology in the natural world and understanding how it can influence social phenomena. So those are some of my mainstays. Of course, I've got I love reading, so I've got a lot of the books that many EOers read and around leadership. But I really enjoy thinking alternatively around what it means to be a leader and how that can translate into being something different than what we've experienced. Yeah.
Love that. Yeah. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
So what's something that's keeping you up at night right now?
I think decentering myself in many ways across the board, whether it is my businesses, right? Sort of the fragility of centeredness of myself in that process. So this is not just sort of how do I create a pathway so I can go and, travel 300 days of the year and leave my businesses to other people. It's not really that. I'm not interested in that. I really enjoy what I do. Um, it's more about creating and building the bench for folks that can inherit the work and, more importantly, evolve the work that we do. We think we're doing really good work, but it needs to evolve beyond just my thinking, and the crazy ideas that I come up with in the shower in the morning cannot be the best ideas in our organization, right? Like we need some other good shit in our
Yeah.
organization, right? Right.
Yeah.
And so decentering myself allows for that to evolve. So that's what's keeping me up. But also in our family, I want to ensure that the family is well situated. My own mortality is owning and renting some space in my mind and my heart, just given, how the family that I came into. And so I'm thinking about ways of ensuring the beyond stability. We're fine in that way, but really the flourishing of our family, I think, beyond me.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, both of those, like really going in at that, like something bigger than yourself, which is a humbling thought, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's especially when it's like, I started it, it's, we're doing it this way and what have you. And then, but it's not all about me. So,
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And I recognize in the trajectory and narrative of my family and to some extent my circle of influence and community, I've represented a disruption of that story, of that narrative, and an interruption of that. And so, how do we ensure that at least the positives from that, because it wasn't always positive, right? I can't say that I've always given great into the world, but how do we ensure that that evolves and becomes something even more magnificent? Yeah. So there's a great shirt that I've seen that circulates throughout my community, and it's that I'm the hopes and dreams of my ancestors. And I want 3 generations from now, to be able to say that.
what about you?
Okay. Yeah.
That's so funny. You're leading right into my next question. What would you tell your younger self?
Oh, wow. Yeah, this one, Laura, is easy because I've thought about this and I've used this as a circle question for leaders in many places. If I could whisper in the ear of my 13-year-old self
Mhm.
that you are not alone,
Mm.
that you are not alone. The worst things that I've ever done to myself, to my community, to my family are when I believed that I was alone and no one understood me and that no one was with me. But the reality is that I was never alone. And what sort of philosophically is true is that I, at my big old age of 50, am actually with my 13-year-old self. Even then, and my 13-year-old self is with me now. So I was never alone even then. The future was with me
Yeah.
because the seeds were there.
Mhm.
And that 13-year-old self keeps looking at me now and asking me to make him proud. So I'm thinking about this constant dialogue and conversation with my younger self and older self. So
I love that.
yeah,
Thank you so much for that.
yeah, yeah.
I have thoroughly enjoyed our time together. So thank you so much. One final question for you. If we've ever been to get to dinner, you'll know that I asked this. So August of 2026, you and I are sitting here again. What are we celebrating?
Well, it will be one day after my 32nd anniversary. So my wife and I celebrated 31 years yesterday.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. So it'll be 32 years of me rocking it with my best friend and the best part of my life. So we'll celebrate that. But then also, I think I'll be able to report to you that my life has become less about me and more about we.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm hoping that'll be true. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Such powerful words.
Oh, thank you.
So
Thank you.
much. We are so blessed to have you in our chapter. So thank you
Thank you.
so much for joining us and being a part of this incredible group of entrepreneurs that continues to grow together. And obviously a big takeaway from today is yeah, how do you make it bigger, selfless and find more
Yeah.
humility, right? So,
Yeah. Well, he always contributed a lot to me for that. And it gives more than I give. So I'm so happy to be a part of this community and tribe. Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you, Bill.
Absolutely. When we get together, I can't wait to hear about some of your favorite GLA and RLA memories of EO.
Oh,
I
wow.
know you've got some good ones. So,
We got a bunch, and many of them involve things that George Gann and Brian and Warren and I have been up to. So I'll tell you some of those secrets.
awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah, yeah.
Dr. Malik Muhammad, thank you again for spending the time. Thank you for being a member of our chapter. And I look forward to meeting you in person.
Absolutely. Thank you, my friend.
All right.
Thank
Have a wonderful day.
you too. See you now.